Because Ghana is still observing its 3-month-long education and campaign on breastfeeding. Now, this follows revelations in the Demographic and Health Survey report on both exclusive breastfeeding and continued breastfeeding rates, which have been on the decline. Now, the report shows that only about 52% of Ghanaian children are exclusively breastfed, with wide disparities, an indication that close to half of all of our children are somehow deprived of this life-saving intervention. But how do we manage breastfeeding and work, considering that paid maternity leave is 12 weeks at most? Now, in studio with me for a conversation on this is Madam Esi Amwaful. She is the Deputy Director for Nutrition at the Ghana Health Service. Madam Amwaful, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time with us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Indeed. Now, this is important. All of us are affected, and of course, every child that is born deserves the best opportunity in life. So let's first tackle this issue of maternity leave and how that is a clear hindrance to continued breastfeeding for the 6-month period. Yeah. What's the way forward with that?
There are a number of things that a country can do. And indeed, in Ghana, there are a number of actions being taken. But I agree absolutely with you that the current paid maternity leave of 3 months is inadequate. If you position that against the fact that the recommended duration of exclusive breastfeeding is 6 months, with no food added, not even water, unless medically indicated where medicines can be given. So, the current ILO Maternity Protection Convention 183 stipulates that countries should move from whatever levels they are into a minimum of 18 weeks, and also encourage countries to go beyond the minimum 18 weeks. So obviously Ghana is really behind in terms of that recommendation. So already we are working on sending it to Parliament, a document to Parliament for extension of the current 3 months. But whilst we are at it, there are a number of things that individuals, households, families, and the general population can do to support women for them to be able to do 6 months exclusive breastfeeding. One is we need to let families understand that breastfeeding is not a woman's job only. We all accept that women have more developed breasts and functionally can produce the milk. But beyond that, other things around breastfeeding can be done by the family to support her.
Like what?
So the woman has to sit for hours to breastfeed. Other members of the family, from daddy, aunties, grandmom, in-laws, can do other things to support her so she can do it effectively and rest, and she's not too stressed. But when she's so stressed, it doesn't help breastfeeding. On a woman who work in the formal sector, corporate organizations and employers can allow them to take breastfeeding breaks when they resume from maternity leave. Indeed, that is also outlined in the ILO provision. They can create an environment, enabling environment at the workplace, what we call workplace baby friendly. And basically what we are asking for is to have a space at the workplace where if a woman decides to carry the baby to work, she can sit and breastfeed comfortably, and then the baby can rest. So we're asking for that space to have a comfortable chair where the woman can have a backrest and sit and breastfeed. And then whilst she finishes that, she can go to work, because we also expect that she should earn her salary. Then the baby rests. There should be a hand washing area, because safety is of importance. If the woman cannot carry the baby to work, then there should be facilities for her to express the milk and store in a fridge there, in a clean receptacle, and then she can carry it home. And the good thing about breast milk, because it's a live substance, it stays pretty well even outside the human body. It can stay outside for 6 hours, up to 6 hours, and it's safe to use. In a fridge, it stays for up to 4 hours. And in a freezer, it stays up to 6 hours, and it can actually go to 12 months, 6 months to 12 months,
wow,
if it's well kept, frozen. And we have ways that will support women to thaw the milk and feed. So that is also allowable. And she can express her milk, and then a carer at home can do that. Let's just touch briefly on women in the non-formal sector. And that is why the whole country should be sensitized and be baby friendly and aware that this is for all of us. We're talking about the best resource a country has, the human beings. And breast milk gives you the best start, best foundation, increases your survival, reduces mortality, improves your IQ, and economic benefits, educational benefits. So it's everybody's business. Immediately, maybe if you are an employer, why should I invest in all this? You know, the evidence points to the fact that if a woman is sitting at a workplace, sometimes she hears another baby cries, her milk is dripping. You have her body, you don't have her mind. You are paying her to sit in body, you're not getting your money's worth. But in the long term, what kind of workforce is a country producing if we are not giving our babies the best start in life? And that is what breast milk provides.
Right, let's take a look at the national recommendations for breastfeeding. Right, I thought we were going to have a look at some graphics there. But okay, what does the ministry recommend? What are the national recommendations for breastfeeding?
Yes, Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, and our partners, we, in line with global recommendations, we do recommend that as soon as a baby is born, within the first 30 minutes, the baby should be put to the breasts. And even if, for whatever reason, sometimes depending on the mode of delivery, it will take a while. But the recommendation is that the first 30 minutes, even if the milk has not come in, the baby should be with the mother. And gradually breastfeeding will be initiated and established. First 30 minutes. And give only breast milk for the first 6 months. No water added, no food is needed. If medically indicated, medications can be given. And this is because breast milk has all the nutrients and water the baby needs for the first 6 months, and some non-infective substances that protects the baby, that enhances digestion and growth of the baby. So that is our recommendation. But beyond 6 months, food can be introduced. But breast milk feeding should continue for at least 2 years.
Now you say that it's got all the good stuff that a baby
needs. It has
needs.
It all.
Is there any bad stuff in there?
No, not in breast milk. They are all good stuff. And the only problem that we might have is when we do not support women to either do it skillfully or do it adequately. Because if a woman and you started on a good premise that breastfeeding and work. So the woman is busy, she has to do all the household chores, she has to rush to work, she works at Joy FM, and she has to come maybe at 5 a.m. So she's in a hurry. The baby doesn't stay long enough at the breast, because our recommendation again is that the breastfeeding should be on demand, and you empty one breast and put the baby to, and whenever the baby wants it, the baby should get it either from the breast or expressed. And if the woman is not the baby is not attaching well to the breast, some problems can also develop that can work against it. But otherwise, breast milk itself, adequate nutrients, good digestive enhancers, and non-infective properties, and it also adapts to the mother's situation. For example, if a mother gets infection, the breast milk adapts and takes substances from the antibodies that the woman has developed naturally against the infection, and it protects the baby.
Wow, the human body is extremely clever, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that education. Madam Esi Amuafo, of course, is the Deputy Director for Nutrition at the Ghana Health Service. Thank you very much for your time. Now.